you today about narrative. Narrative is a very important thing in what we both do. We produce, Mark writes, directs, acts, so it's an everyday thing. And we want to talk about how that relates to digital and technology as it's changing today.
Yeah, the thing that we've come to realize, we've worked in all formats, from short form web series to feature films. Gotcha. To feature films, and the basic idea of story and narrative arc, characters, doesn't change. No matter what the format is, what platform you're going on, those things carry through all of them. We worked on a web series actually a couple of years ago that each episode was what, six and a half minutes long, and that's now been developed, and we're getting ready to go into that as a TV show. And we thought at first that there would be a major change in the format and in the characters, and the surprising thing is there wasn't. Like, we literally just, every episode had a beginning, middle, and end, and it was just a shorter concept for the web series. And now with the TV show, same idea, just expanded a little bit.
Yeah. So it really is. It's about characters. When Mark writes, do you want to explain a little bit about your writing process? I thought that would be a cool thing for you to talk about.
Sure. Well,
Writing for characters.
yeah, for me, it's like I spend most of my time in writing a script is spent developing the characters and just kind of figuring out their relationships, their history, and then once that is locked in, when you have a basic framework for the story, the characters kind of tell the story for you. So I'll spend probably 3 or 4 months just sitting, staring off into space, thinking about characters. When it gets time to actually write the script, that's a pretty quick process because they help tell the story for me.
I'm going to put double white blues and pull out the
Sure.
sheet. Yeah. So my background is visual effects as well. I've worked on from digital to web series, and that's something that is really interesting to me. We just worked on a film called Not Cool for the YouTube star Shane Dawson. And that's why we wanted to talk in this panel, actually, that kind of sparked some ideas for me. Shane is a huge YouTube star. He's something that's like 20 million subscribers, but it's all short form, and he plays various characters, a lot of funny characters. Some are a little vulgar, but they're fun. And so Starz actually just did a reality show about the making of a feature film that he stars in, wrote, directed. So we just loved seeing those characters develop through all of those. So it's him, he plays multiple characters, and the format's changing. So it's something that you can watch on mobile. You can, check him out on YouTube, or you can watch it on TV now, or go, buy it on iTunes. And, it's very cool to see all of those characters transitioning throughout. But it's the same, it's what the audience wants. The audience wants to feel these characters, to continue with them. So if you want to show Double White Blues and like writing for these characters.
Okay. I don't know if you guys can see that.
So the process, what the process for writing for Bubba?
Yeah. Well, it's just again, when you get a great character that you develop, it kind of writes itself, and that character's development is not too hard because they just fill in the kind of the blank spaces. Now, one of the things that we found interesting, because we're looking at digital content providers for some of our outlets, and with series now, we can create very, very complex storylines because of the nature of the way people watch digital content. Now people will sit down and watch 5 episodes in a row. You don't have to worry about kind of the weekly intake of an episode. And so it's allowed us to kind of get a little more complicated, layer in a lot more things that, if an audience doesn't catch it, they can literally go back the episode and rewatch the one that they just watched. So that's made it a little more fun as a writer, being able to explore those things without the need to worry about kind of dumbing down the story or the episodes for the audience.
Yeah. Another example, I just worked on which I think is so cool. There's a video game called Killing Floor, and they're just releasing Killing Floor 2. It's Tripwire Interactive. So I was a producer on a short film that actually gave the background story of the game. So I feel like it's just so cool to see how they're all connecting, because people want more of the characters in the world. They want to know, how did this game come to be? How are these characters here? How did they get released? So we get to go and actually see, that, but it's in a live action version. They shot it all on GoPro, and it's incredible. It's like literally first person shooter with a GoPro. You should check it out. It's for the Killing Floor. But that was a great way to see that transition of live action characters transitioning into video game.
Yeah, and another interesting thing that we found in the last couple of years is when we'd go in to pitch a TV show, one of the things that the development execs would ask for is, how can this TV show include digital content that adds to the storyline of the show, but doesn't, it's not required to follow the narrative, but it just adds another layer of interesting, moments or character insight. And so now one of the things we do when we come up with TV shows is figure out the narrative of the show, and then we do a separate narrative that kind of weaves through the show and pitch that as well, because that's something that all the major networks are looking for, a way to get onto the various platforms and to bring an audience in from all sides to their show.
Yeah, it's fully about the characters now. That's what people want to watch. There's, visual effects, special effects, like explosions. I mean, it's great, but it's really like, do you care about these characters? Do you care about these people that you're following? Like, why continue to watch them?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and in some ways, especially these platforms where it's, your phone or a tablet, very often those types of media tend to be shorter, so you have to grab the audience's attention faster, and you need to kind of upload the characters and the conflict very early to keep the audience there. But again, the basic narrative hasn't changed, through all filmmaking. But it's just a way to kind of condense the storyline into its essence and be able to tell a story in 2 minutes or 4 minutes or 6 minutes, and keep an audience coming back when there's so many other distractions out there.
Yeah, it is. It has to be short and sweet. I think that's what's great about commercial work too, is, you have to tell a story in 15 seconds. Like, can you do that? Can you make someone, I think Subaru does a great job with it. I always get teary-eyed every time I see them. But you just fall in love with these characters. And it makes you purchase a car, hopefully, you end up getting a car out of it. But it's just this passion for those characters, and those characters are in, whether it's 15 seconds, whether it's a short film, whether it's a short film for a video game leading up, and then seeing how that all transfers into long form as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because without character, we've all seen those movies, or those, they take something like a video game that was very popular, they turn it into a film, but the thing it's got big explosions and lots of action, but there's no character development and there's no narrative. And you're going to get a certain type of audience for that, but you're not going to get a wide audience, because people want to respond to that. They want to feel connection with an audience, with a character, and truly see something happening versus just big things blowing up. And so I think that's something that just hasn't changed. And as the platforms for releasing various types of media continue to develop and change, the basic storylines, the basic character developments are going to remain the same.
Yeah. I think, are there any questions about?
Thank you, guys.